Operation warship departing from single arm to reinforce the Camie and the squad coming into the arena. Roger.
Welcome back to Live Action Star Wars. My name is James.
I'm Ralph.
And this week we are discussing Chapter 2 of the Book of Boba Fett, The Tribes of Tatooine.
Right. And we're pretty early, especially here on the West Coast, California.
Yeah.
But we have folks in the chat. JT Kell's here. He's going to be listening until he has to go to work. James is doing the same thing.
I mean, I'm going to be talking until I have to go to work. Literally, that's the reason that we are so early. So apologies to everyone who's got up early,
I'm going to make
but
you
thank
late.
you for coming.
I'm going to make you late to work because there's a lot to discuss. We
There
have
is a lot.
Vactor. Vactor says, let's go. We're doing it. We're going. And
Okay.
Jim is here. Hey, Jim. Good morning. Okay, so a little bit of business. I hate a little bit of business. But for those of you listening to the audio feed, you already know this information, but these are not going up on Thursday for you guys. It's going up on Wednesdays. So I mentioned earlier I was going to put them up on Thursdays to just give me time to put. Now I'm just going to put them up right away. So you already know that information because you're listening to it whenever you're
This
listening
is why
to
we
it,
love
which is
Ralph.
Wednesday.
This is why we love
So-
Ralph, because he just does this for all of us.
Right.
I think we finished the last episode and he's like, I'm just putting it all up right now.
Well, I mean, I just had I'm sitting at my desk and I'm like, I can just go to work in either right now
Yep.
or in like 10 minutes. And if I go in 10 minutes, everybody will have the audio version. So that's what we're doing. As soon as these are done, everywhere. So
Yeah, we are
information's-
early. We are early this week, but hopefully that means that we're one of the first people out there talking about this. And you guys in the chat, join in, and we want to hear what you have to say as well.
And what's great about this is I know we're up super early and we're getting this, and you probably haven't seen the episode yet, but we're waiting as soon as you're done. So that's what's great. Mark Vibbert's here, Red Leader standing by. Vactor's actually at work.
That's amazing. That's even better.
That's the way to do it.
Yeah,
He's
definitely.
getting paid. He's getting paid to watch this.
That's what I'll be doing later.
He says, I love the book of Ralph and James. Scott
That's
Z is here. He says,
spin-off
hello
of the
there.
spin-off.
My favorite thing. Hello there. Star Wars quotes. All right. Book of Boba
All right,
Fett,
let's get into the
Chapter
episode.
2. Can I just tell you one thing? And I'm gonna say it. This is my favorite Star Wars show ever.
Yeah.
Because I hate
mean,
having to.
we're early, but it's up there. I loved this episode.
It's my positive way of saying that. I like it more than Mandalorian.
Mhm.
But the thing is, I hate that when people say when they have to like put something else down in order to build something else up. So what I'm saying is the Mandalorian is great.
Yeah.
And I can't believe that this is something
They
that
managed
I
to
feel
top
is
it.
greater. Yeah.
Yeah.
Episode 2. Listen, I last week we questioned why he wanted to be a crime lord.
Mm.
And I have a feeling I now know why.
I think I do too. I don't.
And
Yeah,
I feel like he's trying to reclaim Tatooine for the Sand People.
absolutely. For the native Tatooiners, let's show
And-
some respect.
And it made me so much more excited for
Yeah.
the crime lord part of this thing. Because I didn't care. Last week I didn't care about the crime lord. I'm like, why does he want to do this? Why would you take on this task? And now that I think he's doing it for the Sand People, it
For
makes me want to
noble
root for
reasons,
him
yeah.
more.
That's it. It's like he knows that he doesn't really want to be a crime lord. We know that he already is out of being a bounty hunter. He says it at every
Yeah.
opportunity is, I'm not a bounty hunter. So that's great. But he's sort of accepting the role of crime lord or mob boss essentially. But it's almost out of necessity because he knows that that's how you can implement the change.
Yeah.
He doesn't want to be a crime lord. He wants to make sure that people aren't fucking with his found family. But he's doing it for, we think, it seems like, for noble reasons. In the same way
Yeah.
that when he went to help Din, he was like, "Look, you've given me my armor back. I feel responsible for this kid getting taken now, so I will help you." Again, he's become this amazing, noble guy, and
Right. But
that's the change.
the thing is, listening to Star Wars Minute over the last however many years,
Yeah.
I learned through that show that they're sand people, but they're also native. They're
Yeah.
native Tatooiners. And it's mentioned in this episode.
Yeah,
Boba Fett
Well, like
mentions them.
and that they've been there forever. It's not like they rose from the sands. Like they have been
Right.
on the planet of Tatooine since
When
when it was still oceanic. Like it was.
right.
They've been there the whole time, and
And
Yeah.
what's great about that? What's totally great about that, and we see it in the vision, in the lizard vision,
yep,
is where Boba Fett was born and where he is now. So he was born on an ocean planet, and now he's on a sand planet, and that also is triggering his memories.
yeah,
And them saying that Tatooine used to have oceans, and now they don't. He understands what they lost.
yeah. And it's playing up that whole thing of Star Wars planets only have one biome and stuff. But it's like he came from an ocean world. He's now living and has a desert world that he's claiming as his own sort of thing. It's like they're very similar.
So, I mean, it's great Star Wars storytelling without hitting you over the head.
That's it. It's being a bit more subtle.
Yeah,
a little
and
bit.
That's what I want. I'm hoping it doesn't turn into Falcon and Winter Soldier, where there's a speech at the end where Boba Fett says why he did all this. We got it. We got
it. Yeah, it's there.
Yeah.
I mean, it really is a show. The way that it's being structured at the moment. In the first episode, we had the bookends. In this one, it's the first 15 minutes and the last half an hour. But it's a show of two stories. We've got The Godfather and we've got Dances with Wolves.
Or Godfather Part 2, where it shows his.
Yeah. I mean, that's sort of the way it's scheduled, like the way it's sort of framed out. But yeah.
What's funny is me and my wife, the episode ended, and we're like, so he's still in the Bacta tank? It ended on the flashback.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, maybe next week we open with him in the Bacta tank. We get that at the first half of the episode, and then we come back to Tatooine, like to Mos Espa. Let's just say Mos Espa, because we get more confirmation in this episode that city that we saw in the first one is definitely Mos Espa, because they talked about him being the mayor. This time they go back to that city, and he is the mayor there. So, but we got that nice flyover of sort of the top of the mesa as opposed to in the crater. Mm-hmm. So that makes me think that when we did see it in episode 1 and 2, we just saw like the spaceport, the outskirts of, because I mean, even Obi-Wan says like land near the outskirts,
and it's pretty clear that Jabba's palace is in the greater Mos Espa area. So
it's not that. So I mean, it's walking distance. Yeah. Fennec walked it.
Did they?
I mean, unless there's a bus stop like just down the hill, and like it just stops there, and then and then they have to walk up the hill to the gate and everything. But like, I don't know. That was the first thing I thought. I was like,
you think those 2 Gamorreans are going to make it?
Well, they dragged Boba back pretty quick. So no, I think maybe they took. I think they all took one speeder into town. They took the speeder back, and then left Fennec to just like hoof it or get the bus, or the train, because we know that there are trains on Tatooine.
Yes, and I loved it. And what was funny was when the droid. Shout out to the droid conductor.
I love that droid so much.
When they blew up the train, I'm like, oh no, it's going to get derailed. And I'm like, I'm a fucking idiot. It's not on rails.
Yeah, they're on their rails.
So
the thing that I just noticed, and as soon as I saw it, because when we see it in the distance, I was like, are they doing another crate dragon? Like, we know that the Tuskens are scared of crate dragons, but I was like, okay, no, it's not a crate dragon. And then at first I thought, is it a caravan of like Jawa sand crawlers? I was like, why would they be scared of that?
I thought you were going to say caravan of courage.
Well, I mean, it would be a caravan of courage if the Jawas are going right through there. They would be courageous. But no, then we see this train, and then immediately I was like, wow, Disney Star Wars loves trains. Someone at Lucasfilm has a model train set. Like I guarantee it. Like they love trains. Everything that they've done has had trains in it. Like we've got two
So
in Mandalorian. We've got the one in Solo. Like there's a lot of train heists.
the thing is, it's like the original trilogy, sort of based on westerns. George Lucas probably couldn't figure out how to get a train
Space train, yeah,
heist in there, but now that they can, I mean, it's 100% a western, and like this, you have to have a train.
Yeah, it's a western.
It was
in
cool
the
how
same way.
It's cool how they figured it out.
Yeah,
and
it's playing different sides of the western tropes. Like we are going with like the indigenous side, the Dances with Wolves sort of story.
Yeah.
Because he's come in as an outsider who's now being trained and is learning to respect that culture. And now, instead of going to rob the train as an outlaw, he's going to rob it for like righteous reasons.
Right. Oh, so good. And they get the spoils. They get the water and
exactly
the spice. Boba seems against spice.
I think he's against slaves. I don't think it's the spice, because he said like from the spice, the something Sana spice from the slave mines.
These are these. Oh man, I'm a bad Solo fan. Are the Pikes?
Yeah,
they're not the Pikes. They're the Pikes.
That's the Pike Syndicate. Yeah, or they work for the Pike Syndicate at least. Who we saw in Clone Wars and in this. This is the first time that we've seen them in live action without their masks on. Which, it's close enough. I saw some people complaining that they look different, but I was like, it's live action and animation. Like the Clone Wars doesn't look one for one. Apart. And it's one for one. They don't look like one for one. Like Obi-Wan doesn't have a straight line beard. You know. We all wish he did.
We have more folks in the chat. Ed is here. Ed was on our episode discussing dancing Star Wars characters. When you get a chance, go check that out. It was a really fun episode. Ed, join us next week if you want. If you're going to be available, join us on the show. We could always use guests.
The funny thing about Ed to me is that when he was working on The Rise of Skywalker, he was more excited about The Mandalorian, and he was telling me all about the stuff with like the volume. Before it was called the volume, he was describing it to me, and it sounded amazing. Yeah. And then he never watched it. I don't know if he's watched The Mandalorian yet or not, but I'm pretty sure that he's watching Boba Fett so that he can join us in the chat for this, which is great. So yeah, Ed, if you are, or even if you're not, it'll be funny to get an outside perspective.
We have Gary Shields. All hail King Boba Fett. Agree. Adam Fisher is here.
Adam's just going hard with all of these things that we need to talk about.
Right. He's here. He's working as well. He's attending a meeting and paying attention. So we're on split screens here. And he wants to. We're definitely going to be talking about Lizard Vision for sure. JT Kell, excited to be live. I'm glad you're live. It really is going to help the show because
it's awesome.
I need to take my drinks of water, and I usually do that when James is talking, and now we have more to talk about. So,
we both do that.
Oh my gosh, there's so much stuff. Let's here. Go ahead.
We'll come back to Adam's next comment because
you don't want to read this. It's just a drop of all kinds of
this is literally it's the things that I've just got my notes for, and it's all the same things because there's so much in this episode. It's packed.
Can we talk about, if those of you watching?
Mm-hmm.
I'm wearing my Tashi Station hat.
Let's talk about the Tashi Station,
dude.
Our
it's
second
the same set.
Our second to last episode before we dove into Book of Boba Fett, we were with Pete and Alex from Star Wars Minute, and we were talking about the Tashi Station deleted scene. At that point, there hadn't been any other rumors. There hadn't been the trailer that showed Tashi Station, but we just wanted to cover it because it was your choice, and it's something that we all love. We talked about Camie and Fixer at length.
Didn't know it was going to be relevant at all.
And
then was
less than a month later.
When we got that trailer, it was Adam Frazier that pointed it out that I noticed from him first was that was the set.
Yeah. Basically, if you want really good Star Wars scoops and information and stuff on Twitter about Star Wars, follow Adam Frazier. He's one of the best Star Wars follows you can find.
There's how you spell it.
There you go.
Find him. and subscribe to his. Oh man, I'm gonna fuck it up. Poppin' Pizza. Pop Pizza. I subscribe. It's a
Poppins
newsletter.
Pizza. Yeah. Yeah.
He can. Adam
Adam will
look
let
him
us
up.
know.
Chances are we have a retweet or a comment at Live Action SW on Twitter with Adam. You'll find him. He says that's right. Poppin'.
There you go. Got it.
Okay. Brent Dozerman is here. He said, "Hey guys, just finished the episode." I'm assuming he's talking about Book of Boba Fett because our episode isn't finished yet because we're live. And
He might have. He might be from the future. You don't know.
did James get to work late?
Yeah, did I make it?
So Tashi Station, the set looks like they had some sort of like blueprints
Yeah,
or something.
Yeah, but inside and out, we got like everything that we saw in that deleted scene. We saw it from other angles. It was so good. George Lucas Talk Show. Really sorry, we're definitely going to be talking spoilers. Come back. We'd love to have you live, but come back to this after you've watched the episode.
There's no, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. But yeah, the Camie and Fixer actors look really spot on. I know they put
really
them
good.
in the exact same haircuts and the exact same
haircuts,
outfits.
Yeah.
Just so you know, but
exactly.
I mean, I was excited. I mean, I feel like
They don't really have any dialogue. Like Fixer is moaning about it not being right. And Camie sort of tells him to not. But yeah,
but they've been sort of canon in the books, and I think they're still canon now because of the Last Jedi novelization.
Mm-hmm.
But just to see them here,
it's great.
I mean, it's that fine line of the shit I hate and the shit I want.
But the difference with this, I feel like, is so my girlfriend couldn't watch this episode with me live because she's at work, but she's going to watch it tonight. And she'll blast through that scene, and it'll mean nothing. It'll just be that bar that the Swoop Gang are at that he saw in the first episode. It won't mean anything. But to people like us who go deep on this sort of thing,
I guess so. Yeah,
it's
but
so
the thing
cool.
is, like, what if you're a little kid and your parents only let you watch cartoons, and so as far as you are, and so you see like Moochie,
they'll get a kick out of that. It's different strokes for different folks, isn't it?
I guess it doesn't matter.
No.
Put in whoever you want. I don't know why I get so mad at all the characters coming over and making it a small universe. I feel like it's fine if it's the people who are playing in the same sandbox.
If it's relevant, and in this case, literal sandbox, because we haven't left Tatooine. We know that they were the types of characters. They're your Woodersons from Dazed and Confused. They're never leaving town. Yeah. They're always going to be there. They're always going to be. I mean, it looks like they basically live at the Tashi Station.
And I guess I like it that they didn't say Tashi Station. They didn't say Camie or Fixer. They didn't say anything like that.
I was
he
kind of
shows up at a place.
Yeah, I was expecting Camie to just say Fixer no or something like that. Just name drop. But it's not necessary. It is there for the hardcore fans like us who know all of this stuff.
Yeah, the guys who have the hats.
The guys who literally have shirts. The hats right now.
Also, wife got it for me for Christmas, and didn't know it existed. It's this weird sort of everything just is falling into place. And
2022 is the year of the Tosche Station.
Yeah. I mean, I don't need like a Camie and Fixer show. I just like to know there's certain things I just like Star Wars acknowledging.
Yeah, definitely.
And if Mandalorian season 3 has Amy Sedaris at Tashi Station, then it'll give credence to my theory in that. Go watch that Tashi Station episode we did.
She's
I think she's in there.
Headcanon, I'm already saying that she is.
So do you think that's Robert Rodriguez?
Robert Rodriguez was the mayor. Whose choices that is?
Yeah, who decides?
I think that
story group.
I think that might be a story group thing. I think that's probably a Filoni thing.
Okay.
if I had to guess, I'd say it's Filoni and Story Group more than Rodriguez, more than Favreau.
Yeah.
It's that Camie Fixer never had an action figure, so I don't think Favreau's going to be that fixated on them.
Right. Now we could get them.
I mean, we could.
Black
We
Series
definitely could.
2-pack. I
Yeah.
mean, I don't really. I try not to collect Star Wars stuff because once I do,
I've
you
got a
want 'em all?
handful. Yeah, I've got a handful of figures.
Yeah.
You can see them on the top of that shelf. But yeah, not
right
too
now
many.
I have that's just my Chewbacca shampoo.
That's
I
great.
put him up in honor of the Wookiee that we see.
I mean, that's just useful. Okay. So this Wookiee, he's the artwork for this episode of our podcast.
Right.
Apologies to anyone who happened to watch us before watching the show, but it's how do you pronounce it? It's Black Krrsantan, who is from the Dr. Aphra comics originally.
Oh,
So this is a pre-existing
wait,
character.
I think
Ralph.
I've seen him on a cover.
Probably they pushed him hard. He is
okay.
a badass character who he's a maniac kind of thing. He's just a brawler. Hardened criminal. I think he was a bounty hunter. He was definitely like hired muscle. He's been around forever. He's had interactions with all of our favorites. He's been an ally and adversary of Dr. Aphra, who is one of the main like comics created characters. I remember hearing rumors that he was going to pop up in some live action at some point, but I didn't know it was going to be here. I didn't know it was going to be this. So
You
when
think
he
it's just
walks
going
around
to
the
be
corner,
this?
I think we're going to see him fight. I'd be shocked if we don't see
mean,
him in action.
So they said that Boba Fett needs sort of permission to kill the Hutts.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming this long table scene that we've seen in the trailer with the Trandoshans and the Twi'leks and stuff. I'm assuming that's what this conversation's going to be about.
I don't know if
And
that'll be
he
him getting permission. I
may-
feel like that is him like trying to build like an allied force against the Hutts and saying like, look, I'm going to be good to you. I'm being good to you people already. The Hutts weren't. Let's all basically back me and I'll make sure that you're okay.
Okay, I'm gonna do a prediction that's gonna disappoint everybody. So I'm gonna have, let's say we're gonna have Boba Fett is gonna lead a squad of these other crime lord factions
Mm-hmm.
to go take out the Hutts,
Mm-hmm.
and they're gonna get pretty defeated, and Boba Fett is about to be defeated when he is then saved by the Sand People.
I
And
would love to see it.
Hutts. They kill the Hutts and reclaim their land.
So I could see at least the one that I've been referring to as Tusken Badass, the one who's sort of wearing almost all black, who does the amazing move in the train heist where he just rides his swoop straight at it, jumps off, and then it explodes and sort of
Is
seeing
it a he?
almost. Who knows? I mean, I'm saying they.
For
Let's go
some
with they.
reason, let's go with they, because for some reason seeing the sort of the long, the
Headdress sort of-
fabric just
yeah.
kind of hanging off reminds me of long hair, and of course,
Okay.
long
Possibly.
hair is girls. They could have put a bow and eyelashes, maybe, I don't know, but you know what I mean. Like I just assumed for some reason. I guess that's
it's funny, isn't it? Like I was like they are really playing up the Tuskens in the same way that they were Native Americans to me, and so I just sort of assumed that they were a warrior, like basically the badass warrior of the group.
Adam Fraser says I'm worried about that Tusken tribe. Boba seemed to be on his own in the Mandalorian, worried they might all get killed except the kid or something. That kid could maybe be we could end the series with that kid on the throne.
Possibly. I thought it was interesting in this one. It feels like as we're getting more of that backstory, like his main interactions in the last episode were with the kid. Main interactions with this one were with Tusken Badass. It's almost like he's worked his way up through the ranks of who he's interacting with, but he still like has the kid go and help in the fight and everything. So yeah. I don't know. I don't think I hope that Adam's wrong with that one. My thought would be that he's like, look, you've given me all that you can give me. I need to go and reclaim my own things now, but I'm coming back. Yeah, he just got sidetracked. That was
Unless
literally
he comes,
Mandalorian was his side quest.
He could always come back from the Jedi walkie-talkie planet and end up like coming back to the Sand People being dead, much like Luke coming back to Uncle Owen and Aunt Beru.
Yeah.
And that makes him want to do the whole, because there's so much, there's time in between that we're missing. We don't know where the flashback story ends.
That's it. It could be
And
5 years worth of story.
So we don't know what's between that and his appearance on Mandalorian. So
it could be that the young Tusken gets taken, and that's impetus for him, or something happens with them, and that's why he's like, I need to go and get my armor back and basically build up some things to, I don't know, maybe mount a rescue or to avenge them. Yeah, it could be. It very well could be that it's not necessarily the crime side of it. Could be a more of a Breaking Bad situation where it's not moral high ground. It's they messed with me again. Every time I try and get out, they drag me back in, sort of situation where, and now he's like, well, fuck them. I'm just going to go and mess everyone up on Tatooine because they messed with my people.
Yeah. And the moral high ground is where you want to be.
Yeah, normally. I mean, you want the high ground, definitely.
Yeah. Okay, let's see here. Let's go through some of these things.
Well, while we're talking about the crime side of things, we talked about Black Krrsantan. Let's talk about the Hutts.
Yeah.
The Hutts, that was a big surprise.
The twins. They were talking about the twins.
Yeah.
And I was
Did
like,
you for a minute think it was going to be the twins from Star Wars Visions? I didn't.
Can I give you a Star Wars Visions update?
No, how many did you watch?
I think about a month ago.
Yeah.
I watched the first episode.
That's a really good one.
And that's it.
I think the twins might be the second.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, you would have assumed I would have gotten that far.
You would have known about it if you'd seen that episode. That is a out there episode.
Okay. No, I had no idea, and I'm like, last week everyone's like, who's the mayor? Who's the mayor? And luckily this week we saw who the mayor was.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then at the beginning of this one, they're like, they mentioned the twins. I'm like, oh great. Like, are we gonna keep doing this? Like, are they gonna mention the twins like the rest of that? Nope, they showed right up.
Like a minute later, we hear the drums going, and around the corner they come on their palanquin, basically, that is completely bowed in the middle. I feel so bad for those guys having to carry those two.
Yeah, you could see him struggling during the conversation. It's like, God, it's so hot. Like, even when Boba Fett takes his helmet off, he does a huge like exhale because it is hot on Tatooine, and I like that they show that it's hot, and just to lift those two freaking loads.
Adam Fraser has a really good comment here. The Hutts wiping sweat off their bodies with the hoojibs. Like they don't care. Like the female one of the twins has a fan that she's sort of fanning herself off with. But the dude, because we don't have any names, we just know that they're siblings and cousins of Jabba.
I'm going to ask
off with
Adam. Adam needs to answer this in the chat. I know the hoojibs is from a Chewbacca story, and I don't know exactly from which one. So if he could let me know what that is a reference to, because I know there's something about Chewbacca versus the hoojibs. It's like maybe a record. It was like I
knew the name.
Like a read-along record.
Yeah, I recognized the name, and as soon as I saw the design, I was like, "That's that." But I didn't put two and two together, so I'm glad that we've got Adam.
This is why you follow Adam.
Yeah, he just knows this stuff.
Identified
Planet of the Hoojibs.
The Hoojibs. Yeah, and is it? I believe it's like a book on tape.
Yeah.
Yeah, he says, "Yep, a read-along book with record tape." I mean, these guys are going deep, and the thing is, like, okay, so that's a deep Star Wars reference. I didn't know it, and it didn't get in the way of anything.
No.
So perfect. Perfect.
So we saw a hoojib, but we also saw a regular rat as well in the Rancor cage.
It wasn't a Womp Rat, right?
No, I mean, it looked tiny. If Luke was bullseyeing those in his T-16, then wow, that's a hell of a shot that you got there, kid.
Hey. But
No,
that
I've,
wasn't
I've
much bigger than 3 meters. 2 meters.
2 meters.
2
Yeah.
meters.
So
Oh,
it's definitely not that.
so how mad were you gonna get as the Rancor door was opening? How mad were you amping up to be if there was a Rancor in there?
I mean,
Pretty mad.
I
I know there's
assumed,
more than one Rancor in the universe.
yeah, I assumed that it was gonna be a fake out.
Yeah.
Because yeah, I
But
mean,
I kind of I did too.
Fennec just
But they
did
were
it
drawing
himself.
it on so long. I'm
They
like,
really
something's
were.
coming out of there.
Yeah. I like that we got the door sound was exactly the same. Not that thing hasn't been oiled in 5 years.
Yeah.
I hear that
I
sound
keep
and I wait for the
forgetting.
music to kick in because the
Yeah.
score kicks in at the same time as the door is coming up. So I was expecting it. I don't know why. I don't think I'd have been that mad. I think it would have been more interesting if something else had popped out. Like we just saw like a Nexu or something. I think that would have been kind of cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, and
But
then
I
Fennec
do-
just
but it-
completely trolls him. She's just like,
Yeah.
there's nothing in there, idiot.
Yeah. That's what I like about her character. Is she's super knowledgeable of like Tatooine and everything going
Mhm.
on. And she can do this kind of thing. She knows so much. She has so much street smarts that she can just bluff her way and do things like
Yeah.
this.
Street smarts is the best way to put it. That's, I mean, even in Bad Batch, we sort of saw some of that. That seems to be her way of doing things.
She's been around the
I
galaxy a
am
couple times.
the more I think about it, the more I'm worried of a Fennec betrayal, though.
I feel like now that we sort of have his motivation, I feel like she won't.
I don't think
The
she
fact
will.
that he's
I'm
just
a little
trying
bit
to
more.
do it.
Yeah, my worry scale of a Fennec betrayal is up to like maybe it was a flat 1 before. I didn't think it was ever going to happen. Now it's like maybe a 2.5.
Well, for me, it's the opposite because I was like, oh yeah, she could turn on him because he's just trying to do this thing because. But now that you can kind of sense that he's doing this to reclaim the land for the Tuscans. It's like, oh, I don't think that's what the major conflict is going to be. I don't know.
Do you think? I mean, why would she care?
I don't know.
That's the problem.
I feel like
there's
a thing is, I guess there's a long history of betrayal in Star Wars, and I feel like it's been played.
Unless we get a fake out betrayal that gets her to infiltrate the huts or something.
Right. I could see that.
Yeah.
But I feel like I'm really, really starting to like the character a lot, and I don't want to see it. I don't want to see it.
The more I see of her, the more I like her, and I liked her from the beginning. We are getting
a lot of like, before the artwork was the episode artwork, I had a shot of her from this episode where she was standing up against the wall with her blaster rifle and just staring. And that's what I like about her is she's pretty quiet. She doesn't really talk to anybody except for Boba Fett.
She's the muscle.
But she's also the eyes and ears. She's observing and she's learning. And I think one of the things that's
great number 2
that I feel like maybe lends some sort of concern about her, backstabbing, is the way she sits on the throne reminds me of Wormtongue in the Two Towers, Lord of the Rings. Like she's just right there at all times, talking in his ear. And
she also
seen that before.
She gets a little bit like presumptuous, I think, with the pressing of the button to drop the escape hatch and things like that. And it's like, hang on, you're still the number 2. I'm still here. I'm the one talking to this guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
JT says she may take over when he's off on another adventure. I mean, but she went with him. Well, this is before, so never mind.
Yeah,
I was thinking of the timeline. She went with him to go get his armor back, but that is yeah.
But that was after after he'd assumed.
I mean, he in Mandalorian season 1, he did save her life.
And we know that she's
in the desert.
She's robot gut.
Well, was she robot gut before?
No, I don't think so. I think she's.
Yeah.
I think he's had her fixed up.
Because Disney Plus on YouTube just posted a video of her talking about her character,
Hmm.
and she talks about him saving her life.
Yeah, she was dead.
So
Yeah,
I mean, if she betrays him, that's a pretty shitty
pretty
move.
shit. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I think like maybe there'll be a betrayal that we see as the audience, but it was a secret plan.
Yeah,
I don't know. I don't know.
I think that's
I
likely.
right now I just don't want her to be bad. I like her too much.
We do have the mayor and what's her name at Sanctuary playing each other off of each other, like basically saying, "Oh yeah, they sent him. No, they sent him," and it's like, but we know that was the Order of the Night Wind, who are
Not Crimson Dawn.
Not Crimson Dawn. So Crimson Dawn watch this week is pretty low. There's not really much there. But yeah, Order of the Night Wind, they operate in Hutt space. They're not allowed to operate outside of like now Hutter and Hutt space. So almost as a busted potentially. The mayor just has him executed.
The way this this season is going, I could only see Crimson Dawn entering the picture post credit, like the Moff Gideon Darksaber.
They take down the Hutts. They
like the Book of Boba Fett teaser, like those things at the end of Mandalorian. I would say after this story is done, and hopefully we see the Sand People take Jabba's palace. I hope that the post credits would be Kira and Crimson Dawn.
So I said that Crimson Dawn watch was pretty low this week, but when Boba said to the Pikes, "Go back to your syndicate and tell them," he didn't say go back to the Pike Syndicate or anything, but they are Pikes. Like not too long, like 5 years before this, the Pikes were back in league with Crimson Dawn with Kira at the head. In comics lore and everything that's going on at the moment in the comics, the Pikes are working with Crimson Dawn again. I don't think they're quite as tight as they used to be, but there is some connection. So she might have risen up. She might be in control of that spy strain. I would
love to see the Dryden's yacht show up.
Oh, that'd be so cool.
On Tatooine.
Just at Jabba's palace. Just coming up to the door.
Oh my god, just sitting it. Oh and then, man.
Like the little door at the bottom of it, just donk, donk, donk on the door, and then I'm still here for it. I'd still love to see Crimson Dawn pop up. You and I are both big Solo fans.
You know me.
Yeah, we're both
anything Solo related. I want more of.
Yep,
100%. I don't have many notes. I didn't take this episode was directed by Steph Green. I do not know who that is, and I didn't have a chance to look it up. But
written by Favreau again, though, wasn't it?
Great episode.
Written by Favreau or Filoni?
Yeah, I don't know where I heard this. I forget who told me. God, who mentioned? I think it was Eddie. I think Eddie Pence mentioned it. He sent me a link last week, and I don't know, this might be rumor or whatever, but it sounds like that Jon Favreau wrote all but one episode.
Okay. And
Filoni wrote or will direct one episode.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if anyone can confirm this. It's just it was a screen grab of a headline. So if that's the case, like I'm assuming that's what if we're gonna get a Cad Bane, if we're gonna get a Hondo, if we're gonna get something like that,
like it's a shitty tabloid rag that no one should pay any attention to. But the Sun in the UK ran a story the other day that Harrison Ford had shot some scenes as Han Solo for this. Like I take that with an entire crate full of salt and don't believe it. But
But what was fun was the rumors in Mandalorian was that Filoni was directing an episode, and we were all like, "It's got to be Ahsoka," and then it came true.
Oh, cool!
So
Steph Green has directed some amazing shows: The Americans, Watchmen, Man in the High Castle, and Luke Cage. All very, very good shows. I'm a big fan of all of those.
I've seen The Watchmen, and it is a phenomenal show. Watchmen was fantastic.
Yeah.
I thought this episode was great. The train heist was, and we've seen train heist before.
It might be my favorite. I think it's my favorite Star Wars train heist, possibly.
What was funny was what was funny was they had the same hatch
Yeah.
pulled up on the things just like Solo, and I was like, all right, I wonder if it's a set prop piece that they found or what. But
I was enjoying it because we'd seen the fun like comedy training scene of Boba Fett teaching Tuskens how to ride swoop bikes. Because instantly they wanna rip them apart. They're gonna strip them for parts, which is what they do. But he's like, no, we can use these. These are tools to use. So we get the fun montage of him training. They're not very good at it, and then they get good. It's a horse riding training scene. They're jumping from horseback to horseback, and it's brilliant. And then we get like, and I was enjoying the train heist up to that point. But then when like Badass Tusken comes in and does their move and goes through the window, and then we see them just go along like a side scroller, beat them up. It was brilliant. And then popped up out the hatch. Like this episode is funny. There's a lot of comedy moments in this.
Yeah.
Most of them come from Tem, but like other people have funny things to do as well. But I think Tem is just such a charismatic and fun guy that he can deliver a line like, "Oh, I'm sorry, I think I swallowed it," about the lizard, and it's like that's hilarious.
I grew up. Yeah, we got to talk about that.
Yeah.
I grew up with the original trilogy and saw the sort of fandom for the Boba Fett character grow, and I never really understood it. I was never. It was just one of those things where he's just, he's cool looking and the toys are neat, but he, as a character, he really wasn't. I never really latched onto him.
Yeah,
I latched onto Wedge more. And and Bosk more for some reason because Liz uses spacesuits. But what's great about the show is it's making me become a fan of that character, and I feel like I'm super late to the game. But listen,
I don't think we're late to the game. I think that everyone was just jumping the gun. I think they were loving this character before he was a good character. I really do think that he's only been a decent character since Mandalorian. I will stand by it, and now I love him. Now I think he's brilliant, and I'm a big fan. It was one of those jokes that you could see coming. The reverse on the swoop bike, you could sort of see it coming, but it didn't make it any less funny.
The
one that got me was when the one made the jump, sat down, then fell off. Like, how did you fall off? The seat has a back. You're good.
Yeah. Let's talk about this lizard.
That lizard. I love it. Everything about this scene was so good. Basically, Boba Fett licks a frog and has a trip.
Right.
Right. And here we go.
He handed Boba Fett the lizard, and I'm like, is Boba Fett gonna have a lizard on his shoulder the whole time? Is Boba Fett gonna like have to walk into the desert and follow this? I'm like, what is this? And then when it jumped in its nose.
Do we see that lizard in the scene where we just see the feet? In the Fennec Shand episode of season 1, before we see the feet, do we just see a lizard scatter across the sands?
Oh, I have no idea.
I don't know. I might be completely making that up, but I have a vague recollection that we do. And I thought at first, okay, it's that. He's got a little pet now. And then
So does he have a familiar? Like, is it his familiar? Like,
I don't know. Maybe.
Because he gave it back and it went back into its little wicker case.
Yeah.
That vision was awesome.
Very cool.
I love seeing the tree in the waves. And that's what made me excited for this sort of concept of him being born.
Reborn
on the ocean and then being reborn in the sand. And we see,
I mean, him coming out of the Sarlacc is like literally, it's like a metaphorical rebirth, isn't it? It's right. Everything about it is right there. At first I thought the tree was going to be just like, a mirage, but no, he comes back with a branch.
Right.
And
you can't, this isn't like Nightmare on Elm Street where you can pull shit out of your dreams.
No.
But if you could, it'd be super mystical. Like this would be like the most mystical shit.
Yeah. Did he get? Is the tree in the world between worlds?
I don't know. Could be.
I hope not. I quite like the world between worlds, but not in this.
But but the so we see new shots of young Daniel Logan.
Mm,
And we see him on Camino looking out the
love
window,
it.
seeing the fire spray class ship,
Yep. Hmm.
the Slave One. We
Yep.
see the Slave One taking off. So I don't know what that really is telling us, other than Boba Fett spent a lot of time by himself, that Jango
Was off
left him
doing work.
frequently.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
So he was sort of at home alone, left to himself. What did he learn in that time from Tanwi and Lama Su and all them?
other clones?
did
Did
he-
he go and train with his brothers at all? Like,
I don't know.
yeah,
don't
it's
know.
weird. Was he?
It
It
shows
could be
him
like, you know, the princess in the castle sort of situation where he's like, I've got all of this essentially family around me, but I'm not allowed to see any of them, like because my dad is hyper protective and he's the only one who wants to train me.
Yeah, I guess it's showing that he didn't really have that much guidance growing up,
Yeah,
and that the Sand People. I mean, I don't remember much of the Clone Wars, his arc on Clone Wars,
he was
but
a
I feel like
shitbag.
like a bunch of his
He was an angsty teen.
what he's learning in life is from the Sand People mostly.
Yeah, definitely.
So
I feel like his angsty bounty hunter phase came from tragedy when he was a kid, and being raised around that sort of thing. And you know, people like Bosk and those people, Aura Singh, who trained him and worked with him. But then now, in his adult life, he's had a rebirth, and it's, you know, it's a spiritual reawakening. It's
right.
the way that I was living my life before maybe wasn't the best. I can change that. It's not too late to change that. I've been given this second chance. What is it? The sands of Tatooine like spit out the wretched or something. Like it's
yeah. It's coarse and it's rough, and it's an exfoliant.
Exactly. It can be used for good things. I love that shot of Camino. I want to see more Camino. I would love to see a Tanwi cameo. Would be really good. They got the voice actress back.
I'm sure we'll
for
get it.
Bad Batch. So yeah, I'd like to see
sure we'll get it.
some more of that.
I don't know if I
Tanwi
need to go
could be
too
here.
deep.
Hmm?
Yeah. Yeah, I got it.
Yeah.
It's great. Scott mentions this, the parallels with the train going through the areas with all the natives, where all the natives live, and shooting wildlife and people. Interesting to see the similarities. How this happened with Native Americans and bison.
Yeah. I noticed that
100%.
when every time they took a shot, it seemed to kill one of the banthas. I was like, oof.
I know. Bantha fodder.
They are literally bantha fodder.
I believe, like, definitely with this episode, we're learning that it is sort of paralleling Native Americans, and so which makes me want to just root
absolutely
for Boba Fett even
absolutely more. And the Tuscans, the native Tatooiners, like I'm completely on their side now.
And they did mention that they are a tribe that essentially have been trying to hold on to the traditions of the old ways, and a lot of them have split off and become sort of
aggressive raiders. Yeah, you know, there's Tuscans, and then there's Tuscan raiders, and you know, all of that is
So for people who said last week, you know, these don't seem like sand people, they're not monsters, you know.
Oh, these aren't. They're not.
No, they're different.
The same. Yeah.
These are like Orthodox or.
Well, I mean,
and what's great is
people always are different. You know, can you imagine like something being set on Earth and it's like all humans are the same? It's like, ooh, no, please don't lump me in with the rest of them.
The Tuscan Raiders that Anakin came across were in huts.
Yeah.
In more sort of permanent huts.
Like yeah.
Yeah. And these sand people have tents, which means they're nomadic.
They're more nomadic. They're more like Bedouins. Like
so
they're on the move.
They don't have a home.
No.
They don't have a home. They've been displaced. They're trying to hold on to their old values, but can't. They've been sort of cast aside into the Dune Sea. And so it's it's just making me want to root for him.
Mhm.
Adam asks, do you think we'll see a Tusken unmasked? The way it's going, maybe. The way they were putting the clothes on
Yeah.
Boba Fett, I was like, okay, so it's all just dressing. It's
So
not.
I didn't going into the season, going into last episode, coming out of last episode, I didn't think we would. After this episode, and after talking to you, I think we will. I think what's her name?
Oh
It's not
man,
Sophie Turner. It's we've seen her in the trailers. The girl that we've seen in the trailers, I think is very possibly Tusken Badass.
I saw a screenshot. Is it a human with blue hair?
I'm not sure. I can't remember. I think
On a
we've
swoop
only saw a
bike?
brief. Yeah, but the fact that again on a swoop bike, so we know that he's trained them how to ride swoops.
I don't want him to just. I can't. I. It's got to be a good design,
Yeah.
and I don't know what would be a good design. Seeing the Pikes take off their masks and their faces looking very similar was cool.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean,
You don't
the
want them
Sand
to be
People
humanoids,
in a
do you?
mystery. Well, I like the fact that even here Adam says by humanizing them, it also retroactively strengthens the prequels, but strengthens the prequels by further coloring the atrocity of Anakin killing all of them,
Yep.
the women and the children too. It
It
does,
really does.
and it really makes me feel for these guys.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like they're essentially like it's a couple of bad eggs, and
It's gangs when actually like not not all of them are assholes.
right.
They
And
will
I mean,
defend
up until this
themselves. They will
point,
fight. They will fight for what is theirs, but they're not
and
evil.
from Anakin's point of view, before he kills him, well, I mean, I was going to say the only thing he really knows about him is that they like to shoot pod racers and they shot at him,
Yeah.
so they're assholes.
And they took his mom.
They took his mom. That part I wasn't thinking about, but so yeah, they are savages. But this group is definitely different. I don't know if I want to see their faces. I really don't.
I don't.
It's been 44 years, coming up on 45 years of me. I like the mystery of the Sand People. I'd
almost rather see someone put on a mask than take one off.
Right, because if they take it off, it's going to be a big reveal.
Yeah,
with
I'd rather see someone choose to put on a Tusken mask.
Is there a species that we've seen very little of, say in the cantina, like a Duros or something?
Yeah.
Wait, is Newt Gunray a Duros?
No, he's a Neimoidian. They look similar.
Neimoidian.
But
we don't
Duros,
see a lot
Neimoidian,
of Duros.
and Bith all look sort of similar. You don't see
so
many.
I would be okay if they took it off and it was maybe a Duros. I don't know. Something where it's like, oh, we've seen one in plain sight.
Something that looks like it might have been aquatic at some point in its history, but now needs to wrap up because there's no water left.
Right.
Maybe. I don't know. Right.
Don't be blue. Don't be a blue face alien. Don't be a fish guy.
It should be pale as hell because it's under all these wrappings. So it wouldn't have much pigment, I don't think. It would have to be something very, very, very pale.
It's one of the things that
Scott D with the comment of the show so far. Dances with Massives. Yeah, absolutely.
It's tough because the one thing with the Disney era, I like the Disney era. I really do.
Mm-hmm.
I like everything in the Disney era. But anytime they introduce new aliens, they stand out as not Star Wars to me. And I don't want them to, and I mean, this is so stupid. I don't want them to take away Sand People and turn them into just some
let
Disney
Tuskens be
design.
Tuskens. Yeah. I feel like that is more honoring, they are using the Tuskens as a parallel for indigenous peoples, whether it's Native Americans or also with the having Tamora Morrison, they're like that dance at the end you look at his face, he is doing a Maori sort of haka. Like he's as an actor, he's going all Maori with it. Whereas the way that they're moving, like the leaning into the steps and everything, felt like they've done their research. They've got some, some indigenous people.
Yeah, if we do get an unmasking, and to your point of it used to be a aquatic society.
Who knows?
Maybe an offshoot of a Kit Fisto.
Yeah, interesting. That would be
maybe
cool.
Without the tentacles. Maybe they lose their tentacles once the sand came. They came off.
I think that, but yeah, like super pale because they're not seeing the sun, despite being in the sun all day, every day. Like they're
I don't want to see it. I don't want to see it.
I don't want to see it.
I really don't. I really don't.
Let them be who good. They are. It's like saying, oh yeah, you look like this, but actually we'd rather you be like this. Let them be who they are.
Yeah.
That's where I stand on it. We've hashed it out with do we want to see that? And I definitely do come down on the no, leave them masked. If we do and they do it well, I won't be upset, but do it well if you're gonna do it, and do it for a good reason, not just for the sake of a reveal.
All right. I'm out of notes. I think I'm out of stuff to talk about.
I'm out of stuff to talk about. I'm almost out of time.
I'm super excited about the next episode.
I can't wait.
We're going to be coming back live to you at the same time next week.
We are.
And
thank you for joining us live.
Everyone in the chat, thanks for joining us. Everyone who is watching us later, thanks for watching. Our last episode was our highest viewed video on YouTube.
Thank you all.
And we thank you very much. Hopefully you enjoyed it and you just didn't pop in and pop out, but we are super grateful for those of you listening on iTunes. Thank you very much.
Yep.
And
keep telling your friends. If you enjoy the show, tell everyone else. We love doing this.
If you want to add to the conversation, head over to liveactionstarwars.com. That's the YouTube page. Even if you only listen on iTunes, go leave some comments on this video. If we miss something, if there's something you want to talk about, we'll continue the discussion there. We'll also discuss anything Star Wars related at our socials at Live Action SW. You know what? I think I actually have. Hold on one sec. For those of you watching, there's the liveactionstarwars.com banner and the socials at Live Action SW. And
if you want more of our thoughts on the Tashi Station, go back just a few videos on our YouTube channel and have a look at that one, because we talked about the Tashi Station deleted scene before we knew that it was going to be in this.
Right. Adam Fraser, thanks for the show today, guys. I really enjoyed it. Adam, one of these days we got to have you on, because your eye is more keen than mine for sure when it comes to finding stuff. And
I mean, I had time to do 2 watches today because of the time difference, and I'm sure that you caught one in your super early morning watch than I did. Yeah.
All righty. So until next time.
Till next week.
Next week. God, that's so awesome that we're getting new Star Wars every week. And it's really good. It feels like classic Star Wars. And I know we're on Tatooine, and that's classic Star Wars. And I know it's Boba Fett.
How weird is it that this is the show that we're not leaving Tatooine on at the moment? Like, everyone thought that was going to be Obi-Wan, but we're getting it in Boba Fett.
Now I figure even more now than ever, Obi-Wan's going to be leaving Tatooine.
Oh, he's going off world for sure.
But anyway, thanks. We'll see you next week, same time. Until then, may the Force be with you.
To the train.